Shadows ahead should be, what time is it? Yes, should be Nanwan, South Bend Village. Militia there, sleeping, won't burst out again. Guangfulan 2 hours behind now, Sky Horse Mountain 15 minutes. Foreign rifles reached Qingpu in 1 more hour. Guard boats still seem in formation, can't see all that far back down the canal, around bends, just shadows, one merging into another, stealthy as thieves, ghostly as wraiths, quiet as moss. Moon still above the horizon, you'd think you could see that many, 70 of them, even in dimly moonlit patches of fog. Light of moons like gauze, be low enough when we get there. 50-foot guard boats, Imperial war junks, 10 Chinese braves rowing at each rail, 4 junks abreast strung out over 400 yards of shallow winding canal. You'd think you could see them all. Where's that empty? Not in that pocket, not in, here. Swap you out, slip you in, powder, patch, ball, cap, squeeze. Roll call, Sergeant Reese and his diversionary devils up front, then Hannibal with the guns and second wave, and me and Vincente bringing up the rear, worst of the devils. All present or accounted for. Reese to the west gate, Hannibal into the river, Lande's artillery and second wave on south bank, Vincente and I cross the river, enter the moat, lower the drawbridge, rest of our boats land on the north bank, cross over the drawbridge. Quiet but for the marsh music, croaking frogs, chirping crickets, same as filled day and night at Guangfulan, oars quiet too, oarlocks all waxed, and fog dampens the sound of splashing. Steady, Fletcher, lean out too far and you'll fall in, won't see any better into the fog, shoreline'll still emerge and vanish. Black squall on the horizon, can't get free of that image from the reconnaissance, a chimera in my brain, a dies irae in my ear, so much carnage depresses the spirit. Fish jumped. Chinese carp leaping the falls, giving its all to achieve. Up the falls, up the walls. Squads of carp jumping the walls of Tsingpoo, leaping into the battlements, landing in the loyal king's lap. Too bad he won't be there. If Li Hongxun is not there, I'll be even more grateful to Hannibal for his diversionary group. Hannibal fell back on Carthage when his reinforcements were ambushed at Metaurus, they didn't arrive. Grouchy never reinforced Napoleon at Waterloo, he didn't arrive. Relief never arrived at Saratoga for Burgoyne. Cornwallis surrendered Yorktown, Clinton late again, the British Li Hongxun. Reinforcements never arrived at the Alamo for Bowie, Travis, Crockett. Enough of that, let us dwell instead upon the happy thought that Blücher, and von Bülow, did arrive at Waterloo for Wellington. What can happen in just 2 days since? Li Hongxun was his usual brusque self, barely civil, no pretense at common Chinese etiquette, black bears and tiger cats at his heels, not likely he'd have shown up unless the Dao Tai ordered, brought 10,000 he said but not much sign of them. Maybe had them up his long Chinese sleeves, quoth Hannibal. Square stony face did not spark much confidence in his eagerness for battle, but he agreed conditions are nearly perfect, spring tides up again, moon sets just after we arrive, we'll be in the dark, and we are going in battalion strength. Guard boats promised arrived, where did he get so many on short notice? Lot of men to crew them, officers, 20 oarsmen for each, almost 1,800 pagan souls. Maybe they're part of the noble 10,000, who boldly rode and well, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell. Wipe that off your slate, no British glory in defeat thank you, no senseless heroics. Have to wonder how many might return, anyway, they're safe enough waiting in boats, not climbing walls. Still, how can I know what really are his intentions? Ours not to reason why, hogwash. It's not so much that men like him do things without reason, but rather that their reason for doing things is rarely apparent until long after events, if ever. And now ladders again. Sungjiang East Gate, Bomoro falling, scaling ladder slowly arching away from the parapets, through clouds of smoke, hitting the ground like a hay bale dropped from aloft, bamboo ladder crashing down on top of him, resting there until someone snatched it up and threw it back against the wall. You were to blame for that, roaring drunk you led them into an ambush. Never again on duty you said, and you haven't so I haven't shot you myself, but that still doesn't help Derby Garden or Bomoro or the 24 others in your drunken Cali-thump. Not many remember now, but distrust lingers as whispered scuttlebutt. Better you not lead another storming party, better you're across the river with artillery, where the survivors of First Sungjiang will not see you. Then again, even if you weren't drunk, or my platoon was first under the wall, In that bright moonlight the results probably would have been the same. Damn Dao Tai Wu. Damn Taki. Must go Qingpu now Wuda. So here we are again, no chance to get into the town, see how things really are, no king of the beggars to send spies into the town for us. For all we know they could have 5,000 men in there. Cockerel waltzing, making the rounds of the hens, keep at it old man, don't want to be replaced by a new rooster. Vincente heard it too, probably wanted to answer, rooster in the blood, a racial trait, no Manila man without some rooster blood, maybe that's why they're tough fighters, envy them their bravery, we have to work up to it. Vincente just wades right in, no fear, gets along wonderfully with his fellows too, falls into easy conversation with them, all seem to regard him as just less than a god. Maybe it's for show, all caco the walk, no, that's disservice to him, wish I was more like him, confident. Further into this the more squally it gets, more doubts swim in my wake, urges to hesitate, to stop and be sure I'm right before going ahead, when all the while what's right stares me in the face, but then so many hostile faces glare into mine, British consuls, ships officers, Chinese mandarins, Shanghai citizens, newspaper editors, captains of commerce, even my own officers swirl in a haze before me so that it's hard sometimes not to be confused. No walker for me, aloof from men, mess apart, never drink or chase women, else like him I'd have nothing in common with my men. Better back then, admired, respected if not revered, they'd follow me. No burden of command back then, no heavy yoke, never alone, isolated, alienated, command'll do that. Can't fraternize, but must somehow stay close, can't be them, but can still be among them. Especially when you are about to send a great many of them to their death. What a screech! Nearly jumped out of my skin. There it goes, across the moon, loud wings 3, 4 feet wide, huge owl, along here a fish owl, omen of death, maybe a messenger, but not our guide to the underworld. Guns can reduce our dead, clear the battlements before we start up, if Hannibal is vigorous.